Guy Fieri is one of the most popular celebrity chefs on television, but that doesn't mean he hasn't had a fair few slip-ups throughout his career that he'd like his fans to forget. By some accounts, Guy Fieri can be very challenging to work with. In 2011, when David Page, the creator of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, sued the Food Network, his allegations included issues with Fieri, the show's host. According to Page, Fieri allegedly made homophobic and anti-Semitic comments during filming. During a 2011 interview with City Pages in Minneapolis, Page claimed Guy had decided that the two men running the restaurant were life partners. He said, "You can't send me to talk to gay people without warning. Those people weird me out." Page also recalled a disagreement with Fieri's team over access to research materials for one of Fieri's books based on the show, telling City Pages, "They were demanding tremendous research from my people and pictures, but they didn't want to pay for them. Guy said to me, 'You know, it's true, Jews are cheap.'" But it does appear that Fieri's views have evolved since then. In 2015, in an event organized by celebrity chef Art Smith, the Food Network star helped to officiate 101 weddings in Miami, after Florida lifted its statewide ban on same-sex marriages. When Guy Fieri's former Times Square restaurant, Guy's American Kitchen and Bar, opened in 2012, it was arguably doomed from the beginning.
I like how you say first New York City restaurant. I haven't even got this monster open yet and you're already throwing first on it.
While it was already suffering from negative reviews, the biggest blow to the restaurant's reputation arguably came just 2 months after its opening. A New York Times article about the experience by food critic Pete Wells was so terrible that the review went viral. Wells started out asking Fieri if he'd even eaten at his new restaurant, and finished it with, "Oh, and we never got our Vegas fries. Would you mind telling the kitchen that we don't need them? Thanks." In an interview with Today several days later, Fieri simply said of the review, "I thought it was ridiculous. That, to me, was so overboard." But the ardent haters of Guy's American Kitchen and Bar didn't stop there, with Fieri's unofficial nemesis, celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain, claiming in a radio interview on the Opie and Anthony show, "All of these poor bastards, they see him eating cheap food on TV. They go in there, it's like $18 for a hamburger." But despite all of the bad press between 2014 and 2017, the eatery made the annual Top 100 Independents ranking by Restaurant Business, with an estimated $17 million in annual sales. But by the end of 2017, Guy's American Kitchen and Bar announced its closure.
Well, that's the end of me.
It turns out that Guy Fieri is fiery in more ways than one. Based on a few seconds caught on camera, it appears that the chef can also get physical at times. In a video published by TMZ in 2013, Fieri allegedly appears in the front passenger seat of a vehicle, struggling with his hairdresser, Ariel Ramirez. Ramirez looks to be punching Fieri through the open door of a car while screaming profanities, while Fieri kicks Ramirez away with his feet. According to TMZ, Fieri had forced Ramirez out and away from the SUV and slammed the door shut. After the incident, Fieri's manager had to reportedly send Ramirez home in a cab. One source representing Fieri claimed that the fight hadn't been about anything in particular, telling TMZ, "A bunch of guys were messing around. Things got a little out of hand, but they're all good now. All's well that ends well, but you might not want to get on Fieri's bad side, just in case." Turns out, Anthony Bourdain isn't the only person to openly dislike Guy Fieri. When Fieri wanted to open up a wine tasting room at his Sonoma Valley vineyard called Hunt and Ride after his two sons, Hunter and Ryder, his neighbors were deeply upset. In 2015, according to GQ, when the county held a public hearing, more than 100 people showed up to protest Fieri's proposed tasting room, with some carrying placards that read, "Keep Willowside safe and quiet, no to Guy Fieri." Noise studies were conducted, DUI arrest trends were analyzed, and more meetings were held over the wine tasting room. While some neighbors insist that Fieri is not as obnoxious as he may seem, some claim otherwise.
"I'm afraid you're just too darn loud."
Comments from one of Fieri's neighbors were entered into the public record at the hearing, which claimed, "The applicant has thought of everything except a place for his noise." Another neighbor also claimed, "My family lived across the street from the applicant's residence. Guests would be loud, leave trash, and trample landscaping. All we could do was sell and move." Needless to say, Fieri failed to get approval to open his wine tasting room. While it is no secret that Guy Fieri is disliked by some neighbors and some fellow chefs, it turns out that he is also disliked by some of his co-workers. According to TV producer David Page, Fieri was impossible to work with. In his 2011 interview with City Pages, Page alleged Fieri treated women poorly, claiming, "When cutting the show, you had to tell the editors to watch Guy's eyeline because it's always on breasts." According to Page, Fieri's sense of humor was allegedly sexual and largely inappropriate, saying that anytime any woman woman mentioned cream, Guy went into a sexual riff. An anonymous source who had worked on Fieri's show spoke about his workplace behavior with Chowhound, alleging, "Fieri had ridiculous requests at all hours of the day. He knew most of us lived in Central Time, but he would regularly make requests after 11 p.m. I don't think anyone actually liked him." According to the source, Fieri's vanity also regularly got in the way. He would have shoots rescheduled around getting his hair done. Guy Off the Hook was one of Guy Fieri's first Food Network projects, while still hosting his breakthrough series, Guy's Big Bite, which aired for 19 seasons and finished in 2016. Guy Off the Hook did not garner quite as much success. In fact, the show was a huge flop, ending in 2008 after only 6 episodes. The show, which was filmed in front of a live studio audience, was modeled after similar Food Network programs like Paula's Party and Emerald Live. These shows were wildly successful, so why was Guy Off the Hook such a big failure?
Oh man, I feel the need to feed. It's Guy Off the Hook.
In a changing television landscape, the so-called dump and stir cooking shows simply weren't getting the ratings that competition shows like Bobby Flay's Throwdown were racking up. Even Emerald Live, which had been the gem of celebrity chef Emerald Lagasse's early TV career, was canceled during this period. It was a dramatic shift for the Food Network, which was attempting to regain some of its viewership that had shifted to other reality TV channels, like TLC and the Travel Channel. With all of that in mind, it makes sense that a show like Guy Off the Hook wasn't going to make it off the ground. Guy Fieri's 2024 Las Vegas Super Bowl tailgate party is famous, if not infamous. As the chef told Las Vegas Weekly, 15,000 people are going to get a rockin' party with awesome entertainment, booze, and food. I'm doing this Vegas style.
What are you talking about, Vegas?
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
What do you mean, Vegas?
Vegas, Las Vegas.
The party was catered by 25 different pop-up restaurants, sponsored by Pepsi, and had entertainment provided by musicians like Dustin Lynch, Flava Flav, and Diplo. The event was free for attendees and attracted a number of celebrities, including football star Eli Manning and celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay. However, not everyone was pleased with how the event turned out. Yukon Pizza, a local Las Vegas pizzeria, took to Facebook to call the event a bust in a now-deleted post, stating, "We are disappointed in Guy Fieri." The restaurant claimed that it sold 10% of the sandwiches that were prepared for this event at Fieri's behest, with Yukon Pizza citing the free food also being offered to guests as a major factor. Their Facebook post claimed, "Turns out, when major corporate sponsors offer up mountains of free food inside the tailgate, no one wants to buy food from the local vendors." With many attendees munching on Guy's trash can nachos for free, on top of the 25 other vendors that were also selling food, it all turned out to be just too much.